anti-terror front, Bharatiya intelligence forces and agencies believe that Al-Qaeda increasingly views Bharat as a favorable long-term destination, not for immediate acts of violence, but for sustained ideological influence. Rather than focusing on spectacular attacks, the organization appears to be investing in slow, low-visibility radicalization aimed at shaping minds over time. Now, this assessment gained renewed attention following the arrest of Zubair Ilyas Hangargekar by the Pune Anti-Terrorism Squad in October 2025. Hangargekar was booked under the UAPA for alleged links with Al-Qaeda and its regional affiliate, Al-Qaeda in the Indian subcontinent, or AQIS. Now, according to investigators, Hangargekar first came under the radar through digital surveillance. Agencies monitoring AQ-aligned online ecosystems flagged his account as part of a cluster of high-risk Telegram groups. His behavior across multiple closed groups showed consistent patterns: repeated engagement with extremist material, frequent downloads and archiving of banned content, and sustained interaction within encrypted networks. Forensic analysis of his digital devices reportedly revealed the use of specialized tools and foreign IP routing with links traced to Afghanistan and Hong Kong. Now, this combination of indicators triggered deeper scrutiny, following which Pune ATS placed him under discreet surveillance. Investigators later concluded that he was highly radicalized based on encrypted communications and digital evidence recovered during the probe. Now, on Tuesday, a special UAPA court remanded Hangargekar back to ATS custody until the 3rd of January 2026, and in his remand application, the cops informed the court that they intend to interrogate him further about his alleged involvement in 102 Telegram groups, and the foreign IP addresses found on his devices. Top intelligence sources say the case reflects a broader strategic shift by Al-Qaeda. The organization is believed to be moving away from traditional recruitment methods towards encrypted platforms, low visibility online indoctrination, and Bharat's large youth population, widespread mobile internet access and relatively open digital spaces are seen as creating a fertile environment for ideological conditioning without raising immediate financial or travel-related red flags. Agencies also note striking similarities between Hangargekar case and the recent arrests of doctors linked to the terror modules originating from Jammu and Kashmir, the Al-Falah module. Both cases point to the emergence of a white-collar digitally radicalized profile that operates largely below the conventional counter-terrorism radar. And in these instances, the accused had no prior criminal records and held socially respectable professional identities. Investigators say the individuals were radicalized primarily through online ideological exposure rather than physical training camps. Ambassador Deepak Vora stays on with us. Sir, quick comment. Thank you for your patience. This is a serious concern. How do you arrest a person? Because they say prevention is better than cure. How do you deal with a person who has no criminal record, is a professional just like any of us, but is highly radicalized and may at any point in time commit a heinous crime because he or she is preparing for it?
You've asked a question that does not have an easy answer. What has happened in the last 2 days, you know that the United States has bombed supposed Al-Qaeda cells or camps in Nigeria. These were actually Boko Haram. Western education is haram kind of thing. I've served in that country, so I know those jokers. And they've done it because Al-Qaeda is spreading its wings. The Al-Qaeda, as you rightly pointed out, normally where there's weak governance, and I've seen this in West Africa where I've served, they move in. And basically that was Al-Qaeda's game. Ayman al-Zawahiri and all these characters. But now this online business, social media thing that we are seeing, this is the new frontier. Artificial intelligence is the new frontier. And you have quite rightly said, how do I make out if this guy is willing to blow himself up for his 72 virgins or whatever number he gets in paradise and take many along with him, hoping that if he gets 50, then 72 will be multiplied by 50. That is going to be a major challenge. But sir, let me also tell you, because I've been involved in this marginally, that we now have the wherewithal. We have the stuff to be able to identify these people, sir. And if somebody says, oh, it's an encroachment on my privacy, then if there is a choice to be made between my security and my privacy, it's a no-brainer, sir. I would rather go with my security, even if to some extent, the right, whatever knowledge I have, etc., is shared with other people. I would very happily do that because I want to survive. I want to live in a peaceful country. And there are people like this trying to create chaos. For what reason, I don't know. If he thinks that by doing this kind of nonsense, India will become Islamic in 10 days, well, he has another thought coming, sir. That's not going to happen. So this is my own feeling that Al-Qaeda is trying. Al-Qaeda is going to operate on low-key because they've been exposed throughout the world. Their top leadership has been eliminated. We know what is happening in Afghanistan also, etc., in Pakistan. My own feeling is that we would be watching these people very carefully, sharing information, and then we'll take them out, sir, ruthlessly, mercilessly. I hope that is done, sir.
Great. Let's hope that happens sooner than later. Ambassador Deepak Kora, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very, very much. Namaste, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go straight across now, and he's through with us. Editor Tughlaq, Professor S. Gurumurthy. Thank you, Gurumurthy, sir, for speaking with us. Namaste. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram. My first question, the MEA has now officially responded to what has happened in Dhaka, but there's a large constituency in Bharat which is still silent about it, or those who are vocal about Gaza are largely silent about Dhaka. Why do you think this is happening?
See, this vote bank politics, which used to be limited to the territories of India, it has got extended beyond the territories of India. Even the Gaza stand is only vote bank politics. It is not based on any merit, because we have as much relationship stake with Israel as with the Arab countries. In fact, our people's, our vote bankers' support to the Hamas is much more intense than the Arab countries' support for Hamas. This shows, you are not only doing vote bank politics, you are also turning the Indian Muslim mind into an international Muslim mind.
Okay.
Which was the first mistake that happened during the Khilafat movement. The Muslim mind gets extended beyond the territory of India into issues which have nothing to do with India, except as a foreign policy issue.
Got it.
How Hamas as a foreign policy issue becomes a domestic political issue. So this itself means that it has something to do with the votes here. And you are actually trying to shape the Muslim mind in India, that your duty is not only about India, you have also a duty about the world.
Yeah.
I think this is a very, very wrong strategy which will affect larger national interests.
True.
And the worst form of it is happening in Bangladesh matter. See, Bangladesh is which turned into our enemy when it was East Pakistan. It is East Pakistan which created Pakistan.
Yes.
In fact, the Muslim League did not get the kind of support it needed to partition the country in West Pakistan. It got it in East Pakistan.
Yeah, the partition of Bengal.
But
the first
East
in
Pakistan
1905.
was disappointed with West Pakistan, to say the least, and then it felt betrayed, and then it revolted, and then it was subjected to the worst kind of genocide. Millions died and millions were raped, and the United Nations had to support the births of children, because the hospitals did not have the facility to abort or the children being born. It was a very sad story.
Yeah, Liaqat-Ali. Yeah.
The of course, the Wilson Institute in America, Woodrow Wilson Institute in America has brought out a huge document on that. Though it was not part of the American media report at that time, but it has come out in full. So I think this vote bank politics being extended beyond the territories of India and converting foreign policy issues into domestic political issues is dangerous for the country.
True, but Gurumurthy ji, the aspect is also there's a certain squeamishness about openly calling out atrocities against Hindus or even other non-Muslim minorities. And it's not just political parties. There are other entities, apologists too.
You see, it is only part of the psychology we have built up. The psychology that if we are talking even slightly in favor of the Hindus, it is against minorities, it is against secularism, it is against liberty, it is against modernity. To talk in favor of Hindus or the Hindu way of life, it is anti-modern. This is the psychology that has been built up. And it has been built up by the anti-national world order which evolved post-World War. And I had repeatedly cited to you
Yeah.
the United Nations measures for the development of underdeveloped countries, which clearly said, unless you give up your philosophy, your way of life, you cannot develop.
Correct.
And that was part of the Marx Weber theory that the Asian countries, particularly, will have to give up their way of life,
Yeah.
their philosophy, their belief, their past, if they have to develop. And our intellectuals have actually been trained and they have been evangelized into it. And so, for them to say something in favor of Hinduism means you are actually talking against modernity and development. This is an outdated theory which is still part of our public discourse, our academia, our media.
Yeah.
This is pathetic.
Well, but that's also the challenge, isn't it? Let's look ahead. What next? How does Bharat deal with this? Not just with respect to Bangladesh, but this entire action-reaction theory, syndrome, narrative, whatever you would like to call it.
You see, my feeling is that the worst suffering is of the Hindus in Bangladesh. There is no doubt about it.
Ji.
And naturally, not only as Hindus, as human beings, everybody will be affected all over the world, depending upon the degree of their commitment to people who are utterly in helpless minorities in Bangladesh or in any place. For example, America is now bombing Nigeria
Yeah.
for protecting the Christians who are very badly affected in Nigeria. So this whole idea of how to protect the minorities is an international concern.
Yeah.
For us, it is not only minorities, they are minority Hindus, they are helpless. And to save them only, to protect them only, we brought in the CAA.
Correct.
And the CAA was questioned heavily that it should also apply to Muslims. That is, Bangladesh Muslims who are killing the Bangladesh Hindus should also be treated on par with Bangladesh Muslims. This is the
Yeah. Bangladesh Hindus. Yeah.
this was the demand in India. I tell you, even mad people would not make this demand. We made it, and there was an agitation, and it went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court was seized of the matter. See the extent to which the irrationality has driven Indian public discourse to. So, to look at where it goes, after the Bangladesh Hindus who are the worst sufferers, the next is Bangladesh itself.
Yeah.
Bangladesh can never survive as a nation except with India's good relationship and goodwill. It is not a country which can grow on its own. It has to work with us.
Correct.
Of course, we have also a stake in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
And it is only irrational people. And there is something wrong with the orientation that is being given to Islam. I don't blame only the Muslims. I blame even the interpretation that is being given to Islam, which is increasingly become the mainstream interpretation. This interpretation started in the 17th, 18th centuries through the Wahhabi Islamic model, which translated into the Deobandi Islamic model, which largely informed the Indian Muslims. And that did not treat the Hindus or Jews or Christians or any non-Muslim with any kindness. There is a built-in antipathy. There is a built-in negative idea in that Islam against all other religionists, co-religionists. And that has shaped the opinion of Pakistan, Bangladesh, and partly Indian Muslims also. So I would not regard it only as a Muslim problem. It is a problem of Islam also in the way it has been interpreted and applied in India. And India has been a very major theological supplier of this negative attitude, negative perceptions about non-Muslims in the Indian Muslim mind, in Bangladesh and Pakistan Muslim mind. I remember a book was released when coup happened in Pakistan in 1999, and Musharraf took over. A large book penned only by Pakistan journalists, intellectuals, and ex-military men. How Pakistan Islam got muted from Barelvi type to the Devbandi type, and how that has become the ideology of Pakistan military also. These are all things which are not part of the Indian discourse. It's very unfortunate that Indian intellectualism is so poor and it is afraid of discussing Islam. Islam is not one model. There are models and models. So the Islamic model that prevails in this subcontinent is largely an interpretation against non-Muslim faiths. We must understand it to deal with the Muslim mind.
Got it.
And this is not going to be done by secular scholarship. It has to be done by independent scholarship. Even the Hindu scholarship cannot do it. We have to create independent scholarship. For example, the Americans instituted a huge study into the concept of fundamentalism. It went on for 7 years, from 1967 to 1974, where they came out and said the entire volume, 5 volumes, made 2 declarations. One is that the Indic faiths, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, and Shintoism and Taoism are not basically fundamentalist. Because they do not have a textual approach to say there should be no textual errancy, and textual inerrancy becomes the foundation of those faiths, and so only Abrahamic faiths are fundamentalist. This is the only study made in the world.
This thing was made in America by the Americans.
The second declaration they made is even worth. There is at least, I have studied 300 to 350 pages of material on the RSS. And one of the persons who assisted that work, the editor, was one Appleby who had worked as an evangelist in India. He said RSS is not a fundamentalist organization, it is a nationalist organization, but it is fundamentalist-like in the eyes of the people who study fundamentalism. Do you mean to say that in India such independent scholarship is possible? We are so poor even in adopting the Western scholarship into India, but not by not sourcing this independent scholarship. We go to the political scholarship to discuss about the Indian majority-minority problem, which is the New York Times, the Washington Post. I mean, it's ridiculous.
A point well made, sir, and we need to take this larger conversation forward, an intellectual conversation which does a deep dive on what kind of models are actually governing faith in our country across the board, and should there be a certain level of impartial, non-partisan view to it. That itself lends itself to a longer, broader conversation. Professor Gurumurthy, thank you very, very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Namaste.